Hey everyone, Adam here. Welcome back to another video. This one, we got a really exciting one. We're gonna be coming over a Shopify brand that literally spends over $100 million per year on ads. Yes, you heard that right, $100 million a year. It's a brand you may have heard of before, probably have, but it's gonna be really awesome. And we're gonna be going over the stats, and these are mind-blowing stats. We're gonna go over, how they run their ads, the whitelisting that they do, 5 ad concepts they use a lot. Also, 2 unique things that they do with their website that you can go ahead and implement to raise your AOV and also your conversion rate as well. And also an often little bonus on how they hire, which I found interesting, and it was quite a smart thing to do as well. Now, if you haven't heard of me before, my name is Adam Matthews. Been in the e-commerce space for about 7.5 years now, coming on 8 years almost as well, and run a company called AQM that helps e-commerce brands profitably grow their revenue. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So in terms of the stats, first and foremost, they're going to spend over $100 million this year on basically on ads here in 2024. And basically they have done in total $450 million in revenue over 4.5 years, bootstrapped, basically. Over 5 million customers, which is insane. And Meta takes up about 80% of their daily spend. So they spend 6 figures daily just on Meta ads, which is crazy. And it converts better than any other media platform that they've tested. And basically this one 6-pack is basically the number one seller. It's sold, almost 1 million units and generated almost $80 million in revenue. And they're in 192 countries now, which is really cool. And you can see basically their growth is ridiculous. Year 1, right out the gate, oh yeah, just a light 15 million to start off, and then 15 to 90 million, which is crazy growth. That is just ridiculous. I think this might have been 2020-ish around there. And then 90 to 150, 150 to 250, then 250 to 500. Ridiculous. So you might be wondering, what is the brand? A little drum roll, please. It is True Classic. Now, you may have heard of this brand before, but we're going to dive in deep and, all these different things that I mentioned there. And it's honestly just a phenomenal brand. How they go about everything, they just absolutely crush it. Yeah, so we're going to dive into a lot of things here. Now, one of the things right off the bat of why they're able to get to, this kind of growth is, I'm just going to quickly mention it as well, is they actually use Wayflyer for their funding, which actually helps out massively to be able to accelerate the growth, essentially, because we do notice this with a few of the brands we work with that have massive growth. They usually have some sort of, financing to really fuel the growth, fuel inventory, fuel marketing and everything, and just really explode, to be honest. Like sometimes if you have something that works, sometimes you just got to see it all the way through and just don't let too many competitors come in and just get way farther ahead of them. So that's also huge. Then yeah, basically with Wayflyer, that was also massive for them. Now, basically, in terms of the 3 problems that they wanted to solve with their product, was one was the fit. So basically, the founder was basically, when he looked in the closet, basically just found all the shirts that he's looking at, they just didn't really fit his body properly. Also, nothing was really that comfortable in terms of the material, in terms of the fit and everything. And also the clothing was just massively overpriced. So basically, he wanted to solve all 3 problems with it, and then basically launched out with the staple 6-pack that I mentioned, and ended up being their number 1 bestseller, and it sold 833,000 units, which is crazy. Just the one 6-pack, which is nuts. Now, in terms of how they run their ads, you can see here in terms of active ads, we're not even talking, total ads. They have 100, actually they have how many right now? Let me refresh this. I think it was about 160. It keeps dropping. That's actually kind of weird. 390. They have a lot of ads running. 390 active ads running. And basically it's literally all a mix of these 4 here. So one is comedy, which is a huge angle for them. Their ads are genuinely hilarious. It's actually it's so funny. A lot of UGC. What's interesting what they'll do with the UGC as well too is obviously one of the biggest, ad formats that we see work really well is the UGC mashup. But instead of doing 3 to 6 creators or something, sometimes they'll have UGC mashups. It'll be a minute long ad or minute 15 seconds. And it'll literally be 30 to 40 creators in the one video, which is nuts. Just so many creators that they're showing all in one video, and then it just appeals to such a massive audience, different ethnicities, different age ranges, gender, well, not really genders, actually, it's all for guys, but you get the point. They really just appeal to so many people. A lot of photo shoots and a lot of product breakdowns, and really kind of showing the differentiating factors in terms of the fit, the feel of it, all of that sort of stuff. They also go after a big audience segments and really just address their pain points. Like, for example, a couple of their, current winning ads, you have women buying for their partners because they want them to look good. Like, that's massive. Think about how many, couples there are in North America. Well, now they're in, 192 countries, but in these 192 countries, think about how many couples there are and how many women want their partners to look better. All right. So it's just such a huge under-tapped market. This one's also huge. They call out the dad bods and basically, how it's just like, with regular shirts, it just shows off the dad bod too much, but with theirs, it doesn't expose the stomach too much. And how many guys out there have dad bods? Like, in these 192 countries, it's just ridiculous. It's a massive, massive, massive audience, and also hits their pain point really nicely. They got a dad bod. They don't really want to show it off too much. You know what I mean? So also children shopping for their dad. So they just hit like these huge audiences and really just go for it and really kind of hit the pain points really, really nicely in their content. So I find that very, 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 very smart. Now, in terms of whitelisting, which I think goes really underserved, because here's the thing, this is only ads run under the True Classic Facebook page, right? So here's what they'll do is they'll run like GregTube and all these different creators, and they'll run whitelisted ads. And these literally, this one right here, 8.7 million, another one I think had like 5 million views, and they just scale with whitelisting and right through the True Classic page. And it's just, these skits with the comedy skits is just... You're fired, Johnson! What? It's just hilarious. It's just absolutely brilliant. And it's the same kind of actors. So they got this one guy here, this guy right here, and you'll see him come up here. What are you... And he's basically wearing a wig, and it's just brilliant. So they actually do their comedy and their skits actually in-house to keep the cost down a little bit more. And then they just produce a lot of these comedy skits here, and it's just brilliant. And if you ever go to the comment section on the ads, they'll always be like, "Oh my God, the ads are so good. I literally just buy because honestly the ads are just so funny." Like, oh, I just, you know what I mean? So they work. They fundamentally work insanely well. Now, here's also, when I was doing a little bit digging, 5 concepts ads they use a lot. Number one is the UGC interview style. Basically type of ad where the daughter intros her dad and basically just hits a new demo, daughters for their fathers, essentially. You can see here, 2-second hook there. I've never seen my dad look this confident, which is really, really cool. Yeah, then basically talking about the pain point. My dad's style was terrible. And then, you need True Classic, and it kind of just shows it off. And now the dad just looks so much better and all that sort of stuff. AI listicle, number 2. Listicles work incredibly, incredibly well. 3 reasons why, 5 reasons why. You could also do a negative version of it. 5 reasons why, I'm not a big fan of this brand, or something along the lines where it's like negative. It kind of just really helps. Or 5 reasons why these lashes are, the worst, pick. And it just grabs your attention so much easier. And then you go on to talk about the good points, obviously. But it's just kind of a nice little flip to really kind of grab your attention.
5 reasons to get some True Classic activewear.
And so this one here is more tailored towards the athletic side, and then hitting that, once again, massive audience. And they work, and they just make such a really good case. They quickly go over it, and then boom. It's just super engaging, super quick, right to the point, works really, really well. Now, the one that they run a lot is the Post-it note ad, and they basically just great at grabbing and keeping your attention. You can see here they make a video version of this. This is insane. Nike, $55 versus True Classic, $19.99 per item in small, because obviously they want you to buy in bulk and stuff like that. And then they'll basically go on to show, the Post-it note with different angles and all that kind of stuff, and they love it. It just looks more authentic. It's more fun. It's what the ugly ad that they call it, and it just works really well. And they'll run this a lot. Another one too, as well as the Twitter style. So, well, X style, if you will, I guess. But basically, they'll take like a winning ad concept and then basically just put like a kind of a Twitter kind of, profile in it with a caption, and it just helps the longevity of the ad. You could just take a winner and just put this in style, and it lasts so much longer. And they'll run this a lot. Last one here, they run this a lot, and it just crushes. It's really kind of the attractive girl hook. And then more particularly, the attractive girls hitting on the guys, it grabs attention. It's just such a huge desire for men. So you can see her face as soon as she sees the guy wearing True Classic within the hook. She's like, and then his reaction is like, yeah, she loves it. You know what I mean? So this one, they run so much. And now they basically launched, see if I can find an example here. They basically launched these jeans, right? So You
Trust
can
me.
see here, like they really immediately trust me. This is how women want shirts to fit on guys. Like once again, the women hitting on guys, it's like probably their number one angle, I'd say. If you really go down and then you go check out their most run ads that like basically been running for the longest, it's always to do with that. And then you can see here,
These are the worst thing that men
yeah, so it's always girls kind of like commenting on what looks good on guys. I was gonna say, yeah, they launched these jeans recently. I can't seem to find those ones, but they basically launched these jeans, and immediately, it's always the girls talking about like attractive women, commenting, what looks good in terms of jeans and how it makes their butt look perky and stuff like that. And it's just like the most attractive thing they can see on a guy is a guy with a perky butt. Basically, talking about that and going with that angle, rather than like some guy like saying, "Hey, yeah, no, let's I love these jeans. They fit really comfortable. The materials, blah blah blah." Not as good of an angle if you take an attractive female and say, "Hey, here's what looks good on guys. These jeans from True Classic, yada yada yada, and it's gonna make you look really good." Blah blah. That is just infinitely way stronger than literally just a guy saying, "Oh yeah, I love these jeans. They're comfortable, blah blah, blah, this and that." Got to be smart. It's just a huge desire for men. It's just much stronger to go with that, and then just grab different attractive girls, which is why this, in my opinion, is probably the top D2C ad I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Is literally Sydney Sweeney. They did a collab with Dr. Squash. Basically, did a collab with her recently, and this probably just took their sales to the stratosphere. I'm not even joking. Like this is just, I think this has like 30 million views. I don't know if I can play this full thing because I don't know if YouTube is gonna allow it fully, but I'll basically just look it up on. Actually, I'll just show you. If you just look at Dr. Squash Instagram, and you'll find the. You'll basically find it really, really quick. So if I just go here, I'll show you where to find it just in case. But you can see here, Sydney Sweeney, boom, and they did a couple different videos with their different photos and stuff like that. But go check out that video. You won't regret it. It's just, yeah, it's an insanely good ad, and it's just, yeah, it's got 30 million views, and now they have all this footage. But basically, comes with the same desire, just attractive girls, basically hitting on guys, saying that it's just it just works. So if you have a brand that you're targeting men, definitely see if you can work that angle in there. Now, going on to their website, I want to kind of talk about two unique things rather than just auditing their entire website. They do a lot of CRO practices, right? But I want to talk about two unique things they do with their website that I think you can apply to yours. First one, improve the conversion rate, and the second one, massively improve their average order value. So this first one here is basically adding UGC videos right below the add to cart button. So you can see here, basically, you have the crew, us versus them. So you have the add to cart button right here. Now, instead of adding icons, they actually added UGC videos, which is really cool. And then it pops up right there, and then it shows basically, I'll pull it up here. So if I go shop all, and then I go to the tops, and then, so you can see here, so as soon as you click on it, right, it'll go like this, and then it shows products and video, and you're able to shop now. Now, you might be wondering, holy smokes, that sounds super intense. How am I actually gonna do it? Well, they actually use this app here called VideoWise, and it's really, really cool. You can take a look at their pricing. It's really kind of mostly based off of monthly visitors, and then kind of just goes up from there. Obviously, they're probably the freaking enterprise plan or the oh yeah, they're the enterprise plan for sure. But yeah, definitely take a look at it. It's actually a really, really cool app. We actually haven't tested it just yet, but you can see Dr. Squash, Blendjits used it, like all the big D2C brands. Once you start piling up a bunch of UGC videos and then just use different angles for it, what people are saying, 3 reasons you need these, how to style. And if you're sending most of your traffic from ads, and that's a lot of UGC content, it's good to kind of just summarize that right into the cart and just get them sold really, really quickly. So yeah, interesting piece there that I found very, very unique that I don't see too often, which I think is really, really cool. Second one too, which massively increased their average order value, is this gamified cart. So basically how this works is they have different offers that basically gamifies you spending more. So if you spend $80 as in Canadian dollars, you'll get free shipping. But if you spend $149, then you get a free 3-pack of socks. And then if you spend $215, you get I think you get active shorts there if you spend $215. So they really just like gamify it, and that massively, the CEO was saying, or the co-founder was saying, that massively improved their average order value, allowed them to scale so much more. Now, in terms of an app option for it, this one here, I took a quick peek here, is one that is able to do it. This Arctic Gray. Now, you could also custom code it in there as well too, but yeah, this is just an example that you can do to kind of gamify, and that's something you kind of take a look at. gamify your cart. I think they might have custom coded it because they make it pop a little bit more, but definitely something. If you're able to give away some certain free products for you to kind of gamify it and get more people spending. So rather than like most brands will just be like, hey, free shipping over your orders are $80, and then they might just kind of squeeze it out and get there, and some people just won't. But then if you do this, then it gets some people thinking, oh, maybe actually I'll spend $149. Actually, no, I'll spend that $215. May as well if I'm going to get, another free really good product. So really cool. Now, this one here, basically how they hire, I found this very interesting. So basically they have just a pretty lean team to be honest, which I find very interesting. A lot of brands that are doing, revenue numbers basically like this here, they'll have a massive team with sometimes hundreds of employees, but they've kept it actually really lean. And basically what they do, well, first of all, founders did all the work in the first 9 months without hiring, which I find really smart. Kind of hustle in the early days and then really prove it all out, and then from there start hiring. And it only has about 60 employees versus the competition. Sometimes like I was saying, hundreds and sometimes even thousands of employees at this kind of scale they're at. But rather, it basically works with agencies and about 20 contractors, which I find really interesting. So what they'll do is they're pretty picky on hiring full-time people, because they'll first ask, can we solve the business need with tech or AI? A lot of times that can be done. If not, is there SaaS that can fix something? If not, then can an agency help? And then if not, only then do they hire. Because the problem is, if you start adding so many people to the payroll, one, you got to pay all the tax on that, so it just ends up being way more expensive. And then two, it's just, a lot of times that the full-time employees don't really make like, it just starts stacking the payroll, like, a crap ton. Whereas you can be a lot more nimble if you just have contractors and agencies working alongside the brand rather than a couple. I think a good rule of thumb, for a brand, I'd say is for every $1 million in revenue, that's when you have an employee. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. Or maybe even, I guess, even less at scale, to be honest, maybe every couple million. Well, because the thing is, for them, they have 60 employees. It's almost like every 9 million or so, they have a full-time employee at this point, to be honest. So think of how lean that is. Imagine having a company and doing 9 million a year and you only have one employee. Like, that's pretty crazy, right? If you think about it. So that's how they've done it. So for every 9 million in revenue, they basically have an employee. So kind of factor that in. If you're doing a couple million a year and you already have like a bunch of employees, could probably lean things up a little bit in order to basically boost the margins and also the profits. Also found this interesting too, their core values as well. Really like this too: speed, pro execution, creativity, which you'll see a lot. They move quickly, their execution is flawless, and they're also really creative as well. And then empathy as well too. They really care about their customers and also their employees and partners as well too. So found that very interesting. They move quick. I actually really like this. They move quick, they're creative, and they're the execution is dialed. So really love that. So that basically wraps it up. Any questions, feel free to drop it down below. Let me know your thoughts on this. Took a little while to do a deep dive on everything, but hopefully you learned at least, one thing, if not a couple of things you took away from this. Really just goes to show just like there's so much abundance out there. There's, so much revenue you can drive for your business. Like, it's just, one brand that, a ton of people probably have never even heard of doing 500 million a year. Yeah, it's just really cool. It goes to show there's just so much potential as long as you, execute right and you make the right moves and you just optimize everything really well. So I absolutely love this. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. I appreciate you. So till next time, cheers for watching.